Help me reach 1,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. I was already halfway gone, even if the divorce papers hadn't yet made it official. Months of growing distance, endless circular arguments, and the cold, oppressive silence that fills a home long before the law acknowledges the end. This had become our reality. Her name was Laura, once the center of everything I cared about. Now she had become the weight I couldn't lift, the very thing making it hard to breathe. It didn't collapse in a single moment. Love rarely dies instantly. It trickles away, leaving behind disappointments that stack up until there's nothing left. Late nights at the office turned into accusations that neither of us voiced directly but both felt. Missed calls became proof of apathy. Every exchange had the sting of judgment. Every quiet moment a punishment. I had already consulted a lawyer. The divorce documents sat in my desk drawer, waiting for the courage to act on what we'd already destroyed together. That night I told myself it was over. I entered the house just to collect a few things. My watch, a suit, and whatever scraps of dignity remained. She was in the kitchen, phone pressed to her ear. I hadn't intended to eavesdrop, but then I heard my name. Her voice trembled somewhere between anger and heartbreak. "I know he thinks I've stopped loving him," she said. "But the truth is, I just don't know how to reach him anymore." I froze. In that moment, I wasn't the man preparing to leave. I was the man she still thought about, the one she still cared for in ways I hadn't expected. Her voice cracked as she went on. "He doesn't even look at me the same way. I try. God, I try, but he's already gone, and I can't chase someone who's halfway out the door." There was a pause, a sniffle. It hit me that she wasn't talking to a friend. This was her therapist. I stood unseen, feeling like an intruder in my own home. Every word cut deeper than the last. "I know I've made mistakes," she whispered. "I shut down when I'm scared, but I still love him. I just don't think he loves me anymore." One simple confession had the power to shake everything I thought I knew. She was right in one way. I had stopped showing up long before I made the decision to leave. I was angry that she hadn't fought harder, but I hadn't paused to see how exhausted she had become trying. In that quiet kitchen, surrounded by the faint smell of burnt coffee and the weight of our unspoken words, something shifted. I realized I had been telling myself I was the only victim, the one abandoned and unseen. But the truth was broader than that. We had both stopped seeing each other. The call ended, and she stood silently, staring at the floor. For the first time in months I saw her. Not the stranger I resented, but the woman I had fallen in love with. And suddenly, the idea of leaving her felt impossible. I stepped forward before doubt could take hold. She jumped, eyes wide, tears hastily wiped away as if she could erase the moment. "How long have you been there?" she asked, voice barely audible. "Long enough," I replied. Silence stretched between us, fragile and tense, the kind of quiet that could either push people apart or bring them closer. "I heard what you said about me, about us," I admitted. She opened her mouth to respond, but I raised a hand softly. "You don't have to explain. I think I finally understand." I told her about the papers, the ones I had prepared, believing they were the solution. Her eyes dimmed at the words and my heart sank for a moment. Then I added, "I don't want them anymore." There were no grand gestures, no dramatic music, no cinematic moment. Just two people standing in a kitchen, realizing how much they had forgotten to fight for what they once shared. We didn't solve everything that night. We didn't become perfect, and the old wounds were still there. But something real happened. Honesty, raw and uncomfortable, replaced the resentment. And maybe that's what saving a marriage truly looks like. Not flowers, apologies, or vows, but two flawed, broken people who are still willing to try. Because love doesn't die when it's broken. It dies when no one bothers to put it back together.